Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roach Wiggle. Oh, I hit a button on the back of the microphone. I don't know what that does. What day is it? November 9th, 2023. I am partially blind today. I don't know why. I've been downstairs doing roach husbandry all all day, and then I came upstairs and it's just so dry. This room humidity is still pretty good. It was 48% when I came in. I sprayed all over the place, so it's going up. But like, I guess the main rooms of the house humidity must be really low because my eyes dried out and I still got blurry vision. I have contacts in, so I'm gonna try and read everybody's names off here. I might be touching my eyes a lot. I did bring some eye drops. I don't know how much it's helping though. So I'm going to say hello to everybody who's here. Science of Monkeyland compels you from Zen Monkey. Hello to Zen Monkey. I will get through saying hi to everybody in a second. Oh, it feels good. The directions for this, anyways. Probably like close your eyes for like a minute after you put in each drop or something. Not very practical. All about practicality here. Let's see. Good evening, says Joseph Tivir. Title: Hello, Grimdark Lemonade. Time to ride from Orang Mango. Take over his channel. Seize the gates. Hello, Alan, Jonathan Green, Jordan Henderson, Magnificent Animals, Diane Montero. We got a lot of people here tonight. Kyle, you owe me a pair of pants. I'm curious what that's about. Bree, hello. Number one scorpion shipper in the USA. I'm feeling like maybe there's a correlation between these two things. Let's see. Jojo, hello. Exotic Wilderness. Alan with a skull. Let's see. Jonathan Green says, again, if I can read, auction wins came in all looking fantastic. One, the Chloracala is an adult and looks absolutely nuts. I don't remember packing an adult Chloracala. Actually, that's really funny if it closed in there and I didn't. I did just sort of. I think I gave you all the substrate. I think I just dumped in all the substrate that was Loot Garden State Bugs and Pots. Oh, eyes are feeling a lot better. Yeah, I just dumped in all the substrate. I think I pulled like 5 or 6 larvae when I checked on them a couple of weeks ago, and I put them in their own little container, and they just did their own thing. And so apparently one of them has pupated and matured into an adult before I shipped. So that's kind of nifty, and I didn't even notice it. It might have been in a pupil cell when it was put in the shipping cup, because I remember putting exactly 5 larvae in there. So congrats on that. Exotic Wilderness says, Luch retracted a message. Also got an A on your test. Congrats. Gyna Larita Yellow made it last night now. Just waiting for my young men for them to grow up so I can start my project. I'm behind on my project. I need to. Well, actually, I guess I have like sub-adult females. I guess I'm waiting for adult females, and then I will be pairing up the males from the main enclosure with the females. I'm just waiting for females to pop up. Dry air, guys. It's not good for you. It wasn't supposed to be retracted. That's okay, Luch. Huh. Oh, okay. Gesundheit, thank you. How are you doing today? Thank you. They always ask Kyle, what are you doing? But Kyle, how are you doing? I am. I've actually had a pretty good week. The time change always feels like I have a lot more free time. It's really nice. Angela and I've been working somewhere between 7 and 10 hours every day. And then the evening, Angela and I have just been laying around watching anime, and it's been really good for both of us. We're on like a really good schedule. I think this is the best that either of us have felt in like maybe months, maybe even since like last March or something. It's just been really good for us. I have an expo to get ready for tomorrow. Well, the expo's on Saturday, actually, but I have to finish getting ready for it tomorrow. But in general, I'm pretty happy. On top of emails, there's some other miscellaneous stuff that I have to nails. There's some other miscellaneous stuff that I have to do, but feeling pretty good. Trying to think. I would love to come on here and complain as I've done in weeks past, but I'm trying to think about things to complain about. What can I complain about? I'm going to check something over here. So my female Dynasty's Grantia, one of the captive bred ones, died, and I thought it was a little soon, but this is the original container that she was in. I definitely saw an egg at the bottom, so there might be larvae hanging out in here that I can't see. I'm just hoping that I got a good amount of Grantii because I want to make some available for sale, and I also want to have enough for captive breeding into the future because I really do like the species. I got this little guy out. Let's see, how else am I doing? It's been 2 weeks, I think, since the last live stream. Yeah, because last Thursday I was getting ready for Youmacon. Hello, Alex. Youmacon, which I went to over the weekend with Angela and some friends, which was wonderful. There's some Alex, yeah, email me whenever. I know you want a Grylus Assimilis. There's tons of them right now. Halloween, I forget Halloween happened. Halloween was nice. I had maybe 20 trick or treaters, which is more than I've had in the year that I moved into the house. We had a good number, maybe 30 trick or treaters, and then even disregarding COVID for years after, we didn't really have many. So last year, quite a few people. Hello, Lorraine. Good to see you. So Youmacon cosplayed over the weekend. Had a nice weekend getting away. Trick or tweakers, hopefully none of those. But I did a bug catcher from Pokemon cosplay, and I had this with me, and maybe only like 20, 30 people realized it was real, and that was great. Who I met to bet one of the trick or treaters went home with a roach in their Reese's. What's to bet? I actually gave out special chocolate-filled marshmallows and Krabby Patties for Halloween, as a matter of fact. They were quite the hit. One kid was like, I handed him the marshmallow thing, and he acted like I just gave him a blank check. So that was pretty good. Yeah, I wish I'd kept a couple more Krabby Patties, but I really need to keep the sugar. Trick or scorpions? It's interesting. Should have given out the lollipops with the scorpions inside of them. Yeah, I haven't seen those for sale recently. They've been pretty cool. Is that a Titius you're holding? Kids pet my ball python when they came over. That's nice. Yeah, every year I think maybe I'll do something spooky with like roaches in a second bowl underneath the candy bowl. But like it's kind of chaotic. It was kind of chaotic here because like my porch is only so big, and both of the dogs are just wanting to go and see people when somebody comes over. So Victor's doing his high pitch shrieking, and Nazig's standing up on the gate and doing her wiggling, and it's just a lot of chaos. So I don't think I want to do something too involved like that. Jonathan Green says, a bear started frequenting my neighborhood, so my plan for next year is to make/buy a super realistic black bear costume, then run around my house at the trick-or-treaters. That's very interesting of you, and surprisingly not the first person in the chat wanting to make or experience a bear costume, surprisingly. So this is not a Tedious, this is a Grantii. This is a male I actually brought with me when I cosplayed, and this is one of the ones that I raised. I just got eggs from the female and then raised the larvae in captivity. So he's 2 years old now. This thing is ancient. So, yeah, really hoping I have 2 Grantii females from this locality, captive bred ones. One just matured and is sclerotized, and the other one just closed, waiting for that one to fully harden up. And I really like the species. It's been easier for Titius for me so far. and we'll see if more fecund. I really feel like that container next to me is full of larvae, but I'm taking a new approach with beetle rearing, except for seed neens, because seed neens are just so easy once you've got them down. But I really don't want to disrupt like the substrate until I'm sure that I have like second or third instar larvae, because a lot of them are communal up until then, or until I see that it's like getting really exhausted, and then I'll split larvae up into groups. It just seems better that way, with less chances of like rupturing eggs and all that jazz. So I'm really hoping this container here is full of a bunch of Grantii larvae. I think if out of all three of the females, if I get 100 larvae, I will be ecstatic from the Cave Creek Canyon strain. Hello, Inverterrarium. So yeah, I will be ecstatic if I got 100 larvae out of them. I would probably keep 20 for myself and then put the other ones up for sale, because I really like this species. I really like this strain. This is the first rhinoceros beetle I've raised to maturity. And then, did Kyle address the scorpion box? Was there an issue with Lucibun's scorpion box of scorpions? If there was, obviously you can email me if there was some sort of issue. I'm pretty sure I taped up every side of it good, just scorpions in a box. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I receive things from people, just why I need new pants. As long as it was closed, which I did write Honduras on the box, so, but as long as it was closed, if it was open, I would assume the box maybe got crushed or something in shipping. Apparently, a box that I sent to Florida was not opened by any sort of like government agency, but the box was torn open when the person received it. That I don't know how that could have happened. That the box was just like, I guess maybe a chunk of the side of it just torn out. I've had some boxes crushed before, especially on the corners. There was actually an infamous situation 2 years ago where somebody sent me a bunch of lubbers, and the box had gotten crushed or damaged or was improperly taped, and so USPS actually brought a whole plastic pallet and crate to my house and dumped it on my driveway. So there was a huge, gigantic. I've never seen a box this big for outside of like refrigerator boxes or things like that. I've never seen a box this big in my entire life. A huge box. It was like maybe like 5 feet by 6 feet by 5 feet that said USPS on it, and they put it on top of plastic crates on part of my driveway. And when I went to check the box, I had to like climb into the box, and the lubbers were just all over the place. It was in like March or April or something like that, so they weren't going anywhere. But it was fascinating to me that that's what they did in that situation. And also interesting that USPS makes boxes that big and they just have them on hand apparently. So I've actually been keeping the Honduras in groups. So I've done that before, as long as they have enough space and can make their own burrows. I haven't had issues with that. As a matter of fact, most scorpions seem to be pretty communal as long as they're well fed. So as long as they're all in good shape, I'm good. I'm glad to hear that that they made it. So, but yeah, speaking of that, actually, I figured I would ask people: anybody heard of a person by the name of William King? I'm gonna just copy what Jordan Henderson put in here about Autolyca herculeana and see, give that a look. See, but anybody here know a person by the name of William King by any chance? Let's take a look at this. Oh, that's a very pretty stick bug. That's a very pretty stick bug that looks like it belongs to the same family or subfamily that Peruphasma and Anisomorpha do. So keep me in the loop if you produce any of those, Jordan Henderson, because I would be interested. Well, primarily if they have like easy hosts like privet or honeysuckle. I'm going to look into them right now. Just see what the recommended hosts are really quick. Oh, eyes. Privet and Salal. Okay, and honeysuckle. Okay, so basically the same care as Peru phasma. So yes, keep me updated. I would like to work with those eventually. There's a William King that was born in 1786. Not that one. He was maybe 10 years ago even now. He had a very impressive scorpion collection, and I've never seen anybody match it. And he was definitely captive breeding everything himself. So I was curious if anybody, if he was still around. I'd love to see what he still has. So, Keith Master of Chief, welcome. Looking for suggestions on a starting colony of feeders for a fire skink, crested gecko, Asian forest scorpion, and a juvenile beardy and adult leopard gecko. You know, I've been kind of, you can always go with dubious, but I've been kind of suggesting the more beginning keepers as a reliable feeder roach on the tinier / tiny end of small side. Go with pallid roaches, and on the average crickety size, go with lobster roaches. I've been really recommending lobster roaches to a lot of people because of how easy. Jordan warning me about a peppermint spray from the stick bugs, and Geosasarma saying Rubus ligustrum lanistera are just the standard. Yeah, I think most phasmids eat plants. It is interesting if a lot of them will eat honeysuckle. I will admit to not having tried it with some of the sticks that I've raised, but it seems like it's a pretty reliable thing if you have it. In fact, Anisomorpha and Peru phasma to a lesser extent, but Anisomorpha seem to be capable of eating like dry dead leaves too, as long as they've been watered, like not just dry dead not just dried out green leaves, but like full on like dead dropped off the tree leaves, which makes sense because their eggs are just scattered in leaf litter, and they're kind of like roaches in a lot of ways, kind of like the roach of stick bugs. Alex having some Margatia escapes. That's very unfortunate. Alex, I want to let you know, moving into the future, on how these the firebelly and yellow belly toadlets do. I've been really going hard on using the Blatellini species Malaysia for them. It seems like it's a really good feeder for them, and just in general. Geosasarma, a good excuse to pull up all the Japanese honeysuckle and feed it off. You're reminding me, Geosasarma, if I need honeysuckle, there is a huge Japanese honeysuckle bush over by the school here that I can access all winter, and it stays pretty evergreen, surprisingly. Leo and the moths, yes, the lithobiids arrived in good condition. I regret to inform you that I have yet to put them into a proper full-size enclosure. They're currently in a temporary enclosure until I get on top of some other stuff that I have to do. Like, for some reason, a lot of my Epilamprine roaches are just kind of stalling right now, and I really don't want to lose them. So that's a priority I have to do next week, is getting those all up to par. And then, of course, keeping things that are doing well, continuing to do well, and doing all my husbandry. Lorraine's spiny stick bugs are doing amazing on rose and blackberry cuttings. As long as they are fresh, I keep them in water bottles. Yeah. And again, the dry air, everybody, we're at the time of the year with the thing that Kyle always complains about and says things about. He continues saying about the dry air and airflow in the winter. We're there. And I've actually been updating some of my enclosures to have the polycarbonate lids on them right now for some stuff that I'm a little more concerned about, keeping the humidity in. For example, I put polycarbs that cover about 5/6 of the lid on my Eublaberus posticus, Eublaberus serranus, and Eublaberus marajora. Distanti and CF biolii I've left just exposed to the air because they like it drier anyways. So frogs like the little penguins. Again, we'll see how they do over time on the diet of the roaches and other stuff that I'm offering them. Mostly roaches right now. I did give them fruit flies initially too, because I had a bunch of fruit flies on hand. The enclosures were not perfectly sealed up yet, but then once they were, I started offering the Blatellini species Malaysia. Grimdark asking about Macroclamys indica snails. Maybe not. My snail interest, the next thing on my list Snaily is glass snails. Just getting a colony of those going because there's some small, I believe the quote was stupid snail from Florida that is like bright pink that is predatory, and having a colony of glass snails could actually come in handy for that. So, Geosarma, I would think that the Botellini species Malaysia should be really good for. Also, Geosarma, you are the Brown the Clues person, right? Just checking really quick because I have some information I might need to give you right now. But anyways, I would imagine yes, the little penguins would be good for a lot of things. But I don't know if they have exactly the best overlap with the greenhouse frogs. When I kept greenhouse frogs, they wanted to be under their cover like all the time, even when it was sort of moist, and they would just sort of explode out. Sometimes when I'd make it rain in the enclosure and stuff. So the Botellini are kind of always up and out and about in like the leaf litter and on surfaces and stuff. So it might be better to go with Compsodies or Nocticola or something like that for the greenhouse frogs. But you never know. They are invasive in like Florida, so they're probably eating all kinds of stuff. So it's worth a shot. The Botellini species Malaysia, definitely on my top list of tiny feeder recommendations. I've been exploiting them for so many things the last 3 months. Let's see what else. It's okay to dig up my adult titties, be out of the soil, or just leave them alone. It's usually so. Titius usually takes some time after they physically mature to just sit in their pupal cell, like on the order of months, even. It's one of those things you need to look up. Either have your own experience with it, or look up other people's experience and see if they found that things just hopped right out of their pupal cells, or if they sat in them for a while. Because sometimes they are not sexually mature yet. They do need to still sit in their pupal cell for a bit for some beetles. Like Dorcas Titanis castanicolor was my experience. The Phallocrognathus muelleri like to sit around for a bit, not as long as the Dorcas Titanis castanicolor do. On the other hand, Dynastes grantii, pretty much right after they eclose from the pupa and they harden up, they're ready to go, and so you can safely remove them. A lot of Cetidines are like that too. Not all of them. So some like the Euphoria Monticola might want to sit as adults in their pupal cells for a while. But things like Pacnota, Gymnetus, Chlorocala seem to jump right out of their pupal cells too. So the horned one, good to hear on the Gravitigerus. Those were all collected from like the Imperial County sand dunes in California. Just more information. And if you do get babies, that would be really cool. This was, I was told from the person who collected them, this is the most that they've ever seen out there this year because there's been a lot of rain. So it's bringing a lot of things out in the desert. Anyways, Geosarma. So the species Miami or Virgatus Miami have not yet produced more young. I'm waiting on, I just got all the ones that recovered are just sitting at adults and they got huge and they're not doing anything yet. So there's going to be a baby dump eventually. So instead, I sent some of the North Central Florida Porcellanites virgatus or species North Central Florida for you to toy around with. I can't remember if you had those yet or not. If you did, then I'll just have to send you something else in another box. And I also did send you a piece of the hydrocotyl. So Luch says, okay, mine been months after maturing. I'll look into it. Thank you. In fact, it's I would recommend maybe even cooling it to like 50 or 60 degrees for the Titius. So to get it to break torpor. I've been wanting to collect some of those myself because I know a spot, but I've not found any myself yet. Well, there's some of the hard work done for you, I guess. Hello, Hylas. But yeah, Scorpion box, and there have been a couple of DOAs with a few orders aside. A lot of the Nocticola I sent out apparently really did not appreciate the cold snap that happened. So I'm going to be replacing some Nocticola species Malaysia for some people. But for the most part, Considering in the last 5 weeks, I have shipped out. I have shipped out roughly 20,000 bugs to at least 60 different places. The number of DOAs has been very, very low, so I'm quite happy about that. Oh yeah, also curious, how big are all those 3 I got? The Regularis are on the tinier side. The Oligrangiani are small-ish, and the Petavariana are more of a mix of all sizes, since that's what I have in the colonies at the moment. So if I can find any, I'll get a new locality of those. Virgatis, your way. Thank you. There's also did I get another one recently? I've got a handful of them. I've got enough to work with. I do still want the. Did I get the Everglades ones? Yes, I have the Everglades ones. So a little feisty here. Anyways, speaking of which, a couple DOAs. I'm always upset about that because the perfectionist wants everything to be perfect and flawless, but we have to accept that life is not perfect. But good news. Generally, things are doing well around here. As I think, what's the thing in this room that needs to be looked at the most? And I look to my left and see all of my springtails, which desperately need some watering or some food. So I'll probably do that right after the stream and before I go and water the isopods in the basement. But in general, things are doing very well all around here, moving into the winter, which is a good sign. I found out that my first ever pairing of Tropoxylus dichotomous Kabuto mushi beetles was an extreme success. The female, who was in one enclosure for, I don't know, maybe like 4 days, if not that, after being with the male for like 3 days, after they both just emerged from their pupal cells, produced a bunch of larvae. There's at least 20 larvae in the first setup, and she's still crawling, still got all her limbs and still in good shape. So I put her into another oviposition setup. And so I'm thinking that this will have been a huge success, my first time actually pairing up and breeding Tropoxylus dichotomous, which I feel is a species that could very easily be commercialized in the United States for a bunch of reasons. So each order was approximately 3,333 insects and other arthropods and whatnot. So anyway, so there's good news. When I find some colonies turning around that had flatlined or were kind of declining. Polyphagus saussuri, on the heavy rebound, I got a bunch of hatches in there. Both Eurycotis opaca localities that I've received are doing phenomenal. Paraplaneta brunea doing phenomenal again. I thought I almost lost my Afrostylopiga. Again, I've never worked with the species before, and I bumped their humidity and lowered the ventilation, and I've got the ooths to hatch, and the nymphs look pretty healthy. It's not a success yet, considering how long the adults lived and how vigorous they looked. I feel like it's a little bit of a below satisfactory situation, but as long as I can get those nymphs to adulthood and then get them breeding again, get a culture going, that's all that matters. So, but in general, again, a lot of things are going pretty well. Kyle, give me strength for the rest of my fall semester. I'm tired, LOL. Just, you know what? Finish up your day by 10 if you can. Watch some anime, watch something. Play with your bugs for a couple hours. Go to sleep at a good time. Get up at a good time, and things will fall in the line. Right now, again, I just cannot believe how much my life changes after the time, the hour. The time gets set back an hour. That's the words I'm looking for. It just gets so much better. I feel so much more relaxed and well-rested and on top of things. So, let's see what else is doing well. Coach, I've been waiting for nymphs to pop up in for months now, and it's I cannot spoiler alerts for it. It's really really pissing me off because I'm doing everything right, and I've had abundant experience with other members of the genus, and I'm hoping it's not a weird diapause something or other, because that would be really sucky. But if I don't get results for like another 2 months, I'm gonna have to throw the container in the cold room and see what happens. But I'm getting really, really annoyed with them. So a lot of people having problems with their fall semesters and stuff, and yeah, I get used to it. Everybody's overworked, underpaid, stressed out, etc. You got to find your way. You got to find a way to make peace with the system and get by where you can, because it's pain. Existence is pain. Is the stream skipping for anyone else? If it is, try refreshing it. Oh, big news. This is actually something important that we need to talk about. Okay, it's not just my eyes that are blurry, it's the camera. I am going to, as of tonight, I need to put up in the auction Discord. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it. Well, that's unfortunate. I'll respond to you in a second, Shane. That's very unfortunate, though. And here, I'll get to everything in a second. What I'm trying to say is the Roach overhaul. I need money to take the month off, blah, blah, blah. A great way, in addition to all the wonderful people who've donated out of the kindness of their heart or the obsessiveness of their personalities, Angela suggested the incredible fundraising technique of doing a raffle. So I am going to put up some items in the Discord for a raffle. The drawing will probably be around the end of the month. So it's gonna be fun things. Not gambling. It's a raffle. It's a raffle. Gotta be careful what you say, Jordan Henderson. So I've been putting up some things that everybody wants. Some fun stuff like pseudoglomerus and pseudarmadillo. I'm noticing a lot of the things that people want start with pseud. So it's a fake of the actual. For things, they'll have I'm trying to decide between more scorpions. However, this time, considering the deriding and degradation, I'll just do the more professional thing and ship them in one of my socks to you, or perhaps a tied-off T-shirt, or maybe I'll go to Meijer and I'll buy a couple of those plastic travel kit soap box things, and I'll rubber band them shut. Surely nothing bad could happen with that. I'll see. How are those Aranavega settling in? Pretty well. Again, it's set them up and check on them in a couple of weeks. It's really all that can be done in these with a lot of bugs, unless you're looking for a more immediate turnover for faster breeding things. Speaking of which, really quick, I have to say, I got babies from my Trichorana donaldsoni, and I'm ecstatic about that because I only got maybe 3 or 4 of them, and I wasn't sure if they were doing well, and I finally started seeing more of them pop up, and I'm just absolutely ecstatic to have them. So that's what reminded me of. So anyways, I'm going to, if you guys want to list some things in the chat that you'd like to see put up for raffle, again, I have my ideas for some things. I'd like to do, like, again, pseudarmadillo spinosus, captive bred by yours truly, pseudoglomerus, maybe a Victor. You may not have Victor. Also, it's spelled with a K. Maybe a rare Roach pack, a rare isopod pack, things of that sort. And tickets will probably be between $10 and $20, and I feel like that will incentivize people to get some things. And obviously, it goes to a good cause because there's a lot of work ahead of me. Can I at least come pet Victor? Yeah, when I move and have more space for everything. Glabrous millipedes. Okay, I should think of some millipedes. Actually, Kyle photo. Another Kyle photo. Yeah. Speaking of Mr. Zen Monkey, the frame came in today, and I'm actually it's really cool, the frame that I got for the photo. And if Loki is there, I would have shipped your stuff this week, but I feel bad because Angela really likes my hair, and I'm sort of giving her time, just saying, touch it and enjoy it while it lasts because it's going to be gone soon. So your stuff should be going out next week, as my hair will be. So let me scroll up and see what we got here. Chain unfortunately lost. Nocticola, Pergodesmids, and Trichorhina. Heat went out without you knowing. That's very unfortunate. Just keep in touch on all that stuff. Again, I actually surprisingly have 2 Pergodesmids culturing, and the native one ain't doing the best. They were doing really well through right after I collected them accidentally with the pill millipedes, and then they kind of took over, and now they're kind of on the downswing, and the pill millipedes have been doing better, it looks like. So I have not seen the latest Rick and Morty. I wasn't even aware there was a new season. I'm more waiting for the new season of Smiling Friends whenever that happens, and also Aqua Teen Hunger Force is supposed to have its first season in like 6 or 7 years. So I'm waiting to see how that holds up. So 3D Lego kit of me. That's a lot of. I don't know if they pre-assemble that or if you can buy it, but that's a lot of work. So Eublabrus, Blabrus and Eublabrus recommended things that people want. Okay, millipedes. I might do some gigas. My gigas have been very kind to me the last 2 months. I was surprised. I think I told my story about why you shouldn't count out insects that look like they're incapable. This is not the first time this has happened too. My Eleotes Spinipes Macrura male was missing 2 legs, and I was like, oh, he is never going to score. Oh, he scored really well, and there's a lot of larvae in there again. So my last Gigas male, I thought it was a female at first. It has a warped segment that it's had for a couple of years now, and I was going to put it out of its misery, and I decided, why would you do that? Just leave it. And of course, I'm being rewarded for my patience, because it actually ended up being a male. It ended up being my last male, and I have a single pair of the captive bred adults left, and they seem to be cranking out babies, so that's good. When you getting those murder hornets in stock? What's the situation like with those, actually, now that I think about it? Because I know that was a big thing on the West Coast, and in addition to that, I thought was it the European hornets introduced in the eastern U.S., and I don't think they're quite as big, but they're very similar looking, I think. It's curious if anybody knows about that. So anybody just type into the chat stuff that you'd like to see up for raffle. It'll probably have free shipping, express shipping with all the fixins, although I may have to do a surcharge for people west of a certain zip code, because shipping's gotten kind of ridiculous in the last couple of years. Definitely of the Europeans in Kentucky. Yeah, I've never seen them here, but spasmids, cough, cough. I do have some eggs that I could put up, but I could do some spiny eggs, or I could do some nisomorph eggs or something like that. I think I speak for all of us when I say we want more earwigs. Now that you say that, I should check on my Labradora. My lovely barren West Coast contact, he's not barren, the West Coast area that he lives in has sent me some fun things over the last couple of months. He just gets a kick out of how he'll find stuff that he would normally just like ignore or deride, and I'm just like, ooh, send me that. So he's been sending me the earwigs he finds in the desert, and so Labradora have been making their way into my possession more frequently lately, and so I've got a good pair in this enclosure. I made it nice and deep for the female to dig a nest in, and I filled it with random isopods, because it's a good thing for them to eat. It's nice fresh food, which I'm sure they appreciate. So this is the setup. I absolutely love these old jelly containers. It's really nice to use a container for all the jelly, and then have this afterwards standardized container, and these hold up really well to a lot of abuse. They're semi-stackable. They're perfect for getting beetles to oviposit. And these hold up really well to a lot of abuse. They're semi-stackable. They're perfect for getting beetles to oviposit, like rhinoceros beetles and stuff. So, any nymphs yet from the Grylus? Which Grylus inverterarium? The Toro Weeps or a Simlis from the ones that I was sent? Absolutely cranked out babies. So I am eternally thankful for that. I'm actually going to feed these guys. I want to get the isopods some food before they turn vicious. There's some Oniscus in here. They can be quite vicious. Toros, no inverterarium. As a matter of fact, I'm doing that enclosure probably tomorrow. Resetting up the ones that I salvaged. Crickets, it's pretty fast between when you rectify a problem and they respond to it for the most part. And the problem with the Toro Weeps was obviously the grain mites moved in and killed a lot of stuff pretty quickly. But again, crickets are or at least Grylus are a sort of trash organism that is based around having the most R-style reproductive strategy imaginable. And so you can restart to a gigantic colony within a couple of months, maybe even like a month, 2 months, as long as you have a fertilized female. So yes, on the chopping block of things to do after the roach husbandry is finished. Jonathan says, by the way, I got eggs today from the European earwigs with no diapause, but I did catch them outside recently, and it has been pretty cold. My females, after kind of being in a bit of a slump, have started to plump up in the enclosure I put them into. So I think that maybe, yeah, there might have been enough of a diapause just to be outside in the fall for a bit. Yeah, I second your analysis there. Alex says I'm a trash organism. Oh please, you are far more worthy of flattery than many Gryluses. As much as I love Grylus, it's just kind of how it is. You can have a colony of hundreds of thousands, and something will change, like the food will mold, or it'll be too dry, or it'll be too moist. More likely too moist. And they will all just drop dead and you'll be left with 2. And then 3 months later, after you fix things, you'll have another 1,000 of them. It's kind of inconvenient to raise as many species as I do, and I do have to take extra time to make sure everything is fed and dewatered, I guess. Dewatered or watered just the bare minimum as much as possible to keep them going. But I like them, and at least I'm getting in the time of year. It's the air is so dry and there's so much air movement that I can water them continuously and not have the issues I did during the summer. I was nail biting. I had the ones from Williamsburg, Kentucky. I was down to like 5 after they all grain mite and mold and too moist and all of this stuff. LC says I have so many European earwigs in my yard. It's not even funny. I do too. That's where I got mine from. But I would like to get a colony going of them. I would really like to get lots of earwigs into culture. Somebody here is going to be hopefully finding some labia minor, because it's another one of my top wanted ones. And I just found out that Alan frequently encounters the African earwigs, which I forgot were a thing. So that should be an easy one to add to my list of cultured species. But Labradora, I really hope that they produce and I can figure them out. I did breed them before, but I think they got too dry. I think the nymphs are not very dry tolerant, and I lost the colony that I collected. Labia minor, that's a myth. I've had them before. It was a great species. They ate flower pot fungus mycelium even, which was shocking to me. So so anyways, yes, any more raffle things? Again, I'm thinking depending on the value of the stuff, anywhere from $10 to $20 for a ticket. And what I think I will do is I'll Hercules beetle. That might be doable. I might put some Kabuto Mushis. Maybe if I can confirm Grantii larvae, I'll do like a Kabuto Mushi plus Grantii plus maybe Tidius combo of stuff. So that could be something. My last Dynasties Hercules larvae is going to my friend Jules, because she's always loved Dynasties Hercules, and she's never actually been able to. She's never actually reared one, so now she gets a chance. Raffle off some dumb brown stuff so you get me in on this. I'm trying to think of my dumbest, brownest stuff. What's dumb and brown that's producing right now? Somebody, it was Keen the Snake, won the Indian meal mods, and I went to check on the culture, and I don't know how I've never gotten these to breed before. I think there is some allele effect with you can't necessarily just put like a couple of adults in a container and expect them to colonize it. But because I had a colonized bag of hazelnuts in my closet or in my food pantry, and then I dumped the contents of those into the culture, and then I started layering up more food on top of it, they really took off, and I'm considering them as maybe even as a viable like mantid feeder into the future, or probably not even that, because the Blatellini species in Malaysia are shaping up to be a better mantid feeder than anything else I've worked with other than fruit flies for the tiny mantids. Where was I going with this? Dumb brown stuff, Indian meals. I had a train of thought with it. The larvae would be great for things like wheel bugs and Florida predatory stink bugs, stuff that seem to prefer like caterpillar prey, or for ground beetles, different carabids. Anyways, yeah. So what I will probably do for the raffle is I'll have people email me a specific way. Say you have to have put 2023 raffle as in the headline for your email. That way I can quickly search and archive them. And then I will send everybody the number of I will write the person's name or their preferred contact information on the raffle tickets, and send them that information via email with their ticket number, etc. And then sometime in early December, we'll do a drawing for the raffle, and I'll get things to people. And since I won't be shipping during December, I'll probably do everything will be either FedEx overnight or probably USPS overnight, hold for pickup with full shipping gear, and make sure everything gets there in good shape and the whatnot. So, this Grantii, he might be drying out. He might actually be feeling a little dry. It still seems to be okay. So, but yeah, so I might actually, I'll start compiling that list now, actually, of stuff that I'm thinking. And let's see, I'm going to take this Grantii tub downstairs. I might, again, there's some disturbance in the material at the bottom of this. It's not looking like it did when I put it in here. It could have been from the female crawling around, but I'm really hoping that there's a good crop of Grantii larvae in here. Again, between the 3 females that I got to mature, if I get 100 larvae, I will consider it a huge success. A big success over here. So I'll probably take this downstairs and deal with it. Get this thing off of here. But we'll see. Because it could just be a huge nothing burger, like some of the native Dorcas that I raise. I think I finally got, between my new flake soil-ish source and the age of the stuff I've been piling up outside, I think I finally got a pretty reasonable stockpile for breeding beetles of various sorts. I actually just got my first adult female Dorcas titanus palawanicus. It's really tiny, but it's a female. And the male larvae are just gigantic right now and not even thinking about pupating. So now I'm like, well, I might have to find a male for this thing. if I want to see babies. And strangely, some of my Dorcas Titanis castana color eggs don't seem to have hatched. It's been months, and I'm wondering if something's wrong. Maybe the males just couldn't get it up. I still have all the males that I produced and held back. All the females are long gone, though. It's kind of unfortunate, but same with my Odontolabus. Pete says, "Got to wash my hands before going from colony to colony, so now I have a powder ice pods I don't want in my tiger hisser enclosure." You must have had some pretty dirty hands doing your work to not notice that there were some monkey or a couple of adults. Alan, complete failure with Dorcas brevis, even after I switched them to flake soil proper. Complete failure. And that same flake soil is the same stuff that the Osmoderma are eating, that the Tropoxylus are eating, and that the Chloricalla oviposited in. So maybe next year I'll beg you or Kai for another pair of one of the native Dorcas and try something different. But it was discouraging, but it's a learning curve. I'm imagining it's going to take me about the same amount of time it did to understand different roaches and find out techniques that work for me for beetles. And I'm happy I'm getting consistent results with the rhinoceros beetles and the different cetidines, but it's still going to be a learning process, I'm sure. And stags, I feel like I've got other stags. I feel like I've got down pretty well too, but I would recommend against casual encounters with dirty fingers. Is the last of my statement. Last of my statements on the issue. Last of my public statements. Yes, using unwashed, unsterilized, unfrozen, whatever decor between enclosures is a big no-no if you want to prevent the movement of stuff between them, is my experience. Let's see now where to post. All right, guys, I'm gonna can we start cult revolving? You may not want to call it a cult. You may want a friendly group of associates. I believe in the 1800s it was perhaps called a club. I don't want to. We don't want no Jamestown drink the Kool-Aid type stuff going on here. We're not gonna have any of that at the Roach Crossing. What do they call those? Not the facility. They used to call them the compounds. That's it. Like the compounds. All right. I'm Jonestown. That was not Jamestown. Different thing. Thank you, Alex, for correcting me. Okay. I think I want to do 5. I like odd numbers. So I think I want to do 5 or 7 raffle things. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to say the first one's going to be Pseudoglomerus magnifica, Kuk Fuong. We're going to do a Pseudarmadillo, Spinosus. We're going to do 3 or 4 Agigas. Good question. We're going to do 4 Archie, Spyro, Streptus, Gigas. What else should we put up for the raffle? Any other suggestions while I'm making this list? Again, I just kind of, we'll do a rare roach sampler. We'll do one of those. We'll do what's some fun rare roaches that everybody loves? What's some of the best rare roaches that everybody loves? We'll do 12 Hemiblabra, Tenebricosa, the true Tenebricosa. from Monroe County, Florida. 12, and we'll do 20 Youth there. Hapa Pacifica from Oahu, Hawaii. And what's another good roach you guys would want to see in this? There's a sampler of those generic Cubaris types. Baslicanids, Amblypygi. Probably won't have any Amblypygi for this. I'm sad I've missed out on those species Saba twice now. I think my Saba are doing okay. I need to feed isopods badly tomorrow. We're going on 2 or 3 months of not having fed them, and that's not very good. We could do a generis Cubaris type thing. You know what? We'll do 12 Perispherus punctatus in the Roach sampler. So it's going to be this one will be you'll get all 3 of these species: Hemiblabra, tenebricosa, Euthir hapa pacifica, and Perispherus punctatus. That'll be its own thing. We'll do a I should really check them first before I put this up to make sure I have the stuff. Centurions, Extinct in the Wild Roach. We could do one of those. Cult of Kyle Candelian. The acronym for that might be taken already. Some people saying Simon Doa. We could do one for Simon Doa. Yeah, we could do one for 25 mixed Simon Doa. Conservarium is its own thing. That's very reasonable. Metal straw, yes, it is metal straw. Could do a Gyna sampler. I could do a rare Gyna sampler. That would be a good one. 15 mix Gyna Centurio and 15 mix Gyna Bisanulata and 15 mix Gyna Cappuccino. Unfortunately, my Gyna CF Sculpturata are not perfectly up to snuff again. I need to not do anything with them for like 4 months to get a bunch of them. Do you have enough Tavlisca to put up? They are fun. However, I still need to send the group to somebody in Florida. I've been trying to. There's not a lot of tiny nymphs at the moment, or like small nymphs that are easy to catch. I have to check the colony at night, basically, because I have now learned this is not a bad thing. It's actually probably great for the Tafiliska, but they bore into they bore into cork bark, so they just fill it through full of holes. They find their spot, they just hang out in it, which is great for them. I'm sure it's very comfortable, and they get their humidity needs and stuff met during the daytime. But it's awful for packing them because it means I have to exclusively pack them at night because that's when they actually come out and about. Pseudoscorpion culture. Oh, maybe we want some rose Guianas. I could do a Thuria, another Thuria. Well, they bore in. So again, we did see oviposition on the culture check night thing. I'm skeptical if she laid eggs into it, because crickets will feel things out with their ovipositor, but they might not actually lay eggs into it unless they're really sure they want to do that. So I know for sure they at least will lay into the sand/sandy coconut fiber mix. Have not confirmed yet that they will do it into the cork 100%. So we at least know that they will do ovipositing behavior into cork. We don't know if they'll actually lay eggs into it. So yeah, I could do Gynas and Thurias. That would be pretty good. So I'll go over this list again, guys. It's not going to be anything stellar in terms of diversity of stuff. It's just kind of to incentivize people to donate, because I really want to take the time off, but I really need to be able to pay for my existence while taking that time off. So we're going to do 13 mixed Thuria pettivariana plus 15 mixed Thuria regularis plus 15 mixed Thuria olagrangiani. So that seems to be our 7 things. I imagine that people will be there's more than enough here for people to be incentivized. Any centipedes about Bursatria? Again, this is I don't want not an auction, guys. It's not an auction. I don't have to put everything up, please. Please give me just give me until April. Although I have a feeling like I might do a micro auction or a high roller auction in January to pay for my Angela and I's vacation to Florida. I might do that with, again, kind of a similar spread of stuff, really expensive stuff with very low starting bids just to try and get us some money to offset the trip costs. If you keep talking about wanting to just get those into more people's hands, it might be a good Bursatria might be a good giveaway thing actually for an upcoming live stream. Is there an advertising purchase option, like something where we can buy advertising for our business? Perhaps. Perhaps that could be something we can talk about. Addictive on both ends. I'm so done with the auction stuff. I know. I just posted in the Discord about if anybody has anything they need to square up with me about, please contact me. I probably won't do emails until tomorrow morning, but I want to make sure everybody got even if something had to be subbed or something like that. I want to make sure everybody felt like they got exactly what they wanted and were satisfied with things. It's very important to me. But I've gotten the bulk of the boxes. I've gotten everything out except for a handful of things and some and all that. But basically, as of yesterday, it was pretty much done. We'll see if there's any DOAs for stuff that was sent out yesterday or 2 days ago. But the weather's been really good. Other than that cold snap we had, like out of nowhere, like a week or 10 days ago, that was pretty intense. So I saw the Scorpion package left that a lot. Yeah, again, it may be considered unconventional, but I have myself received things in weirder packaging forms. I just love unpacking like hundreds of assassin bug nymphs from cut straws. I definitely not a risk to me to have to go through hundreds of straws and pop out the assassin bugs, which like to stick out their legs and hold themselves in place inside of the straws, and so you either have to tap them a lot, putting your finger in direct exposure to them in a situation that might irritate them and cause them to use their rostrum, or you could do the less intelligent plan and blow into the straw. There's that, and of course the infamous socks / pillowcases shipping strategy, which is actually really good for shipping things like blue death feigning beetles and the whatnot. Hi, Kim. But oh yeah, those bugs in your shirt are realistic. I thought they were real for a sec. Yeah, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is a Paraplaneta Americana shirt. I like wearing this to expos, which I will wear to the expo on Saturday. Don't know what I'm taking to the expo yet. I might take a couple Kabuto Mushis and some other stuff, but yeah, guys, I would complain that I'm tired. I'm not really tired. I'm just I've been telling Angela, I want to just go through my bugs and putts is what I really want to do. I want to just, let's look at this container. Oh, you guys need a little bit more bark, and just throw, be like, go ahead and be the bark fairy in places. It's those a little extra pixie dust on cultures that can make all the difference sometimes. And I really want to just have the time to take to do that. And it's coming up the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be able to do that before chaos of Mr. Jojo coming to visit and help take pics of everything. So, unrelated, what size tank did you keep the Hadrus in? I got them all in separate bins currently by Mr. It was a 55-gallon, and I have had, and it was obviously for shorter term keeping, but I've had very good success keeping a pair of Hedurus in as small as a 5.5 gallon. And basically how I did this was I filled it with about 5 or 6 inches of sand, yard sand again. And I kind of leaned some, it was like slate or something up on opposite ends and sort of dug out a little under it to kind of say like, oh, here's your burrow. And they both ended up, I introduced one to one side and then I waited a night. And this is before I knew that they actually didn't really care too much if they were in contact with each other. I introduced one on one side, saw which of the places it picked. Then the next day or the next night, I introduced the other on the other side, and it took the other spot and made a burrow. And they were good in there for maybe like 1.5 years or 2 years or something like that. And actually, they got too dry. So that was the issue there. It was before I was using the polycarbs and spraying pretty heavily. That was, oh man, that was back. That was like 2018. That was back before the dark time. So that probably factored into things too. But yeah, they don't actually mind each other too much. Again, a lot of scorpions don't seem to mind each other too much as long as they're well fed. And when William King, again, if anybody's heard from him, he was on Facebook the last time that I was on there. But I guess it was a while ago. But he was captive breeding so many different scorpions. I've never seen a more impressive list of consistently captive bred scorpions in my life. But he was sending me pictures all the time of all kinds of stuff just piled on top of each other. Titius. I mean, I used to communally breed Titius, and I bought one at the expo last month to get a colony going. But Titius and Centroides and Buthus and Parabuthus and whatever that one was the Cuban blue. I can't remember the Latin for it. And he wasn't breeding Hedurus, but Smaringurus, Vihovis, all those things. So I think he had Pandinus too. Pandinus Dictator. I think I actually got a group of those from him at some point, I think. So but I don't know if you should leave the babies in with the adults or if he was growing them out as cohorts, but he would send pictures of, like 20 scorpions all bundled up underneath a piece of bark. I think he was primarily feeding either Gryllus or Akita crickets. So 50 count of Porcellio scaber will take over a 15 quart pretty quickly. So I would go with that, especially if they're larger in size. So I would do no, this is good. This is good. This is seven raffle items that will blow your mind and obliterate your penis. No, not that. Seven good sets of raffle items here that will help to fund the Roach crossing overhaul, which again, Zen Monkey, I will eventually get around to showing you a picture. I just need to have some sit down computer time that's not doing emails, and I've been too busy keeping the gears going to do that. But it's coming. Boy, howdy is it coming, especially after I get past the expo this weekend. Next week is pretty open in terms of Kyle obligations and work that needs to be done. So let's see. I'm going to write up some raffle rules. Raffle information / rules. Let's see. Raffle tickets will be sold from November 9th, 2023 until, let's see, December 7th seems like a pretty reasonable end time for the raffle. Hornwin hasn't slept in 30 hours now, so I'm going to call it a night. Go get yourself some rest. Very important. You got an opportunity to gain an hour of sleep. Here you go. Seize it. You can do it. I believe in you. This is coming from somebody who had an absolutely awful sleep schedule. Now is your opportunity for change. Grab it by the stones, or whatever that means to you. And Anyways, raffle tickets will be sold from November 9th, 2023 until December. We'll do it the day before the end of the raffle, December 6th, 2023. Second piece of information, to purchase your tickets, please email roachcrossing@gmail.com. The title of your email must include raffle 20, include the phrase raffle 2023. All emails without this phrase in the title will be ignored. And this way I can easily go back and search for things if I have to cross-reference stuff. How hard are Eurycotis and Procera? They're quite dry tolerant. They're found in the drier areas of Puerto Rico, dry subtropical forest versus more rainforesty, the elevation cloud forests. So they're more like Eurycotis floridana or lixa in care than they are like species Venezuela or Decipiens, which do like more humidity. Actually, my Decipiens colony, after just cranking out babies last late winter into midsummer, finally started to decline. I had to pull them out of the death spiral, and now I'm waiting for the next boom of babies. I thought it was going to happen sooner, and I bumped the humidity in the old enclosure, hoping maybe some ooths will start hatching. But I'm starting to lose hope that that'll happen. But I've got a group of about 20, subadult and adultish, so I have a pretty good feeling they're going to pull through. Fortunately, so anyways. I'm thinking I'll probably do a discount for multiple raffle tickets. Raffle tickets for items/sets marked with an XR. All right, guys, I'm gonna put this to a poll here for people. What price range would you prefer for raffle tickets? I have a feeling people are probably going to say the lower price range, but if it's in the lower price range, more people are going to be in the raffle, so you have a lower chance of getting what you want compared to somebody who dumps a bunch of money in. But if it's in the higher price range, you may not want to spend that much money on things. So I'm just going to put it up to, we'll let the people weigh in here. All right, here's your poll for pricing on the raffle stuff. Will you do a Black Friday sale on Roach Crossing? No, because I'm not going to be shipping the entire month of December, and it seems like I'd be making far too much work and hassle for myself to do a Black Friday sale that I have to ship the upcoming week and have to hurry through and get shipped out before I have the month off, and there could be DOAs from the increase in holiday shipping and blah, blah, blah. So maybe in the future, although I'm really considering maybe taking December's off into the future anyways to avoid the holiday shipping hassle and to get on top of things and spend time with friends and family and catch on top of husbandry, all that stuff. I'm really debating, especially after I move and I have even more responsibilities after I move. I'm debating, taking maybe December would be a good month to take off, again, for the aforementioned reasons. And May would be a good month to take off because I could do all of my auction shipping in April and then use that money to coast through the month of May, which is the month that I will likely be doing a lot of my year's farming endeavors when I move and I have a garden to manage and plant and more livestock to deal with spring months / early summer months are going to be very valuable for doing outdoor work. So that might be something that happens in the future too. So, but anyways, let's see. Let's see what the numbers are. It's not saying 8 votes. A lot of people preferring in the $5 to $10 range. Okay, so a couple people preferring in the other ranges. Please be sure to vote to make sure your voice is heard, and also be sure to like the stream. Oh man, we're at an hour and 15 minutes. Probably be wrapping it up pretty soon. This has been one of our longer streams. That's nice. I could just keep talking, honestly. Opinion on pill millipedes. Pain in the butt, but I think when somebody figures out a gimmick for keeping them, it will start to open doors for keeping more of the ones that people really like. I'm working with the CF onomerus species from Alabama right now, and I have bred them before with great success, and then lost the colony, and I'm here 6 or 7 years later, wondering what did I do right, and how did they do so well, and why does it suck now? Why am I having so much of a difficult time with them? So currently, sort of some of the information that's been cobbled together on them is that they have very weak mouth parts, so their diet's probably very restricted. And they're probably very sensitive to the microflora, the flora of the enclosure in the sense of the bacteria / fungi, and that conditions can change kind of out of their favor pretty abruptly. And so people have not, all those, there was a Romalochorus or whatever, Rhopalomerus, all those have not really reliably been bred in the last 5 years, despite some people claiming they have a lot of success with them or that they're super easy. There's that huge import in 2018 where they said, oh yeah, Europeans are breeding them, and they show all the pictures of babies. And then a couple of years later, everybody's like, where did they go? Like, what happened? And nobody had long-term success. So it's kind of the counting your millipedes after they hatch. You really want to get at least a generation and then multiple generations, the real tried and true, that you've got the husbandry down, you've got them figured out. So I think Alan's having some success with the Alabama pill millipedes with very low effort, but again, a lot of the key seems to be in the food, finding the food they want and then managing the humidity too. So, but definitely a challenge, but a doable one, I think. And I think the best thing somebody could do to have for sure results is work with maybe one of the European species from like the UK. I think it's Glomerus maculatus, marginatus. I have to look at the black and white species that can be found in the UK, and keeping them in a communal with a lot of fresh outdoor ingredients, maybe keeping them with some isopods. Perhaps keeping the substrate pH might factor in. Alan says at least that's been my experience. I didn't see Alan. I don't think if you sent another message, it didn't come through. Anomalous that is, but I mean I have bred 2 species of Glomerus in the past. Again, I'm trying to find out what that bottled lightning was for getting them going. And it might just take time. And maybe 10 years from now, I'll have a gigantic colony of them be like, oh, yeah, they exclusively eat rotten grass, and that's all you got to feed them. And there'll be hundreds of them. I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, but maybe it'll be something like that. Kind of in a similar vein to right now, my advice with like Harlequin roaches, which is just like, yeah, they want to be human. Throw them on some like wood with some bark and keep them human and feed them like regular roaches, and they'll do great. And that's, we never really couldn't figure out what the deal was with them before, and now it feels like almost like raising a pest species to me. So, but yeah, I would pay if you're looking for wild pill millipedes wherever you are, just be as hyper observant as you can. Figure out what exactly is going on. The best thing you can do is watch them poop. The best thing you can do is watch something go in one end and come out the other. That's the absolute best thing that you could do with something like this. And then, figure out whatever it is they're eating, and then figure out how you can source it reliably and sustainably for a captive colony. And then kind of also factor, what's the humidity like? What's the time of year like? Are there mixed life stages? Do I think there's going to be a diapause, or could they be forcibly diapause, and blah, 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 all that stuff. So, just be hyper observant. And again, some things might need to do with one of my most recent ones being with the Necrobia rufipes. I was like, oh, they like to eat fat. I just need to give them a bunch of fat. And then you have a gigantic colony of them, later, and you feel kind of stupid for not doing that in the first place, but it's all part of the learning process. So, okay, guys, I'm going to, let's see, any raffle item tickets for items such marked with an X are, those are going to be the high dollar things, are $20 each, or we'll give a nice bonus for bigger donations. We're going to say 10 for $100 on raffle tickets for the X items. So for the stuff that people, I'm assuming, are really going to want, like the Pseudoglomerus, the Pseudarmadillo, and the Archispyrostreptus, and I guess the Simondoa too. Unmarked items / sets. Oh, yeah, I'll put the Simondoa in a lower bracket. Unmarked items / sets. Set. Raffle tickets are $10 each, or we'll 10 for 50. 10 for 50, whatever. I just need the money to take the month off so I can get you guys a good website, because I remain perpetually annoyed that the detailed species stats have always been obscured and people overlook them incessantly. So, hey Kyle, been enjoying my Victor hair on top of my morning bowl of cereal. Cole. Yeah, he's still shedding too. I could probably get you another bag if you really wanted it, but I don't know if you tried this. I don't know how weird this sounds, but when I opened the bag and I just sort of smelled it to see if I was going to be sending you like a stink bomb, it didn't smell all that bad. Victor's actually a pretty nice smelling dog, all things considered. He doesn't roll in like feces or anything like that, and he's not particularly inclined to eat gross stuff. Nazik, on the other hand, almost always has a smelly mouth. She's definitely outside eating like cat poop and chicken poop and mud and stuff like that. But Victor he's definitely too neurotic to sort of go through those behaviors. So he just kind of smells pleasant, just kind of dog-like all the time. 7 votes for the low bracket, 2 for each of the others. No, it doesn't smell bad at all. Everyone else is so confused when they open up the package and were greeted with a huge bag of hair. That's right. It was part of the group box. Oh, that's great. Speaking of, real quick, so when I visited Mike, was months ago now, on his farm, and I found that cool black and white moth. It was Monopus something. It's one of those moths that either eats bones or sinew or hair or something like that. I threw it in a tank with a bunch of feathers and some Victor hair and some kibble, and nothing really ever came of it, and all that stuff. I'm still kind of suspicious that maybe one day I'll look in there and I'll see a bunch of moths and I'll be like, oh, it's Christmas morning. I'm not getting my hopes too high, but it could happen. But anyways, so I was outside in my own backyard, and this was maybe 10 days ago or something. It was before that hard frost came. And usually I will brush Victor down on the patio, and just from the dogs being there all the time, they're playing and biting and chewing, and all their hair, so a lot of it sheds off on the patio. And so when I will sweep it, I'll push all the hair off to the side, or when I hose it down, the hair will get hosed into this sort of little space between the little fence that I have there to protect my plants and the patio cement. And so there's been some hair building up in those places. And when I was out there and I was sitting down with Victor, I noticed there was one of those Monopus moths sitting on one of the Canna indica leaves next to me. And I'm really thinking that they do eat hair. That might be their thing, is they eat hair. And that would explain why it was right there, because there's, this huge pile of hair underneath all the stuff on the side of the patio there. And so now I'm thinking maybe in the spring, since it's an old world species, it's introduced, and obviously they're just wild in the area here. I'm kind of thinking like, maybe in the spring I'll go and dig up some of that hair that's buried underneath like the oak leaves and all the stuff. Now and leaves are falling, it's getting covered, and maybe that'll contain some pupae or something from the Monopus, or maybe I'll start I'll start my own hair collection for Victor, and I'll just sort of pile it up under a stone or something over there, and just sort of check it for caterpillars every once in a while. But if they really do eat just dog hair, that would be a really cool species to have. I mean, I already like the adult moths, but it would be even cooler if all I had to do was feed them dog hair and nothing else. So, bye, LC. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for voting in the poll. I'm going to close it out now. I'm trying to think if there's any other rules I need to put in the raffle information. Since rules, raffle tickets will be sold from November 9th, 2023 until December 6th, 2023. The raffle drawing will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on December 7th, 2023, live on the Roach Crossing Weekly General live stream. Okay, there's that. Talk about the email. Purchase your tickets, please email Roach Crossing. The title of your email must include the phrase raffle 2023. All emails without this phrase in the title will be ignored. Raffle tickets for items/sets marked with an X are $20 each, 10 for $100. Unmarked items/set raffle. Unmarked items/sets. Raffle tickets are $10 each, or 10 for $50. All raffle items. I'll just say items. Raffle tickets for items marked with items. All raffle items will ship through USPS Express mail with insulation and heat packs as needed. Shipping to certain Western United States zip codes. I'm trying to think of how to word this shit. I should at least say shipping/handling/gear is free with every item. However, shipping to certain Western United States zip codes may have an additional shipping charge. Okay. And I think that's about it for rules. Don't put in multiple names. What does that mean? A moth that eats hair is wild. There's actually don't put in multiple names. I mean, it doesn't really matter if somebody wants to get $100 worth of raffle tickets under 5 different names. That's completely, and it's fine. They're still paying for them. It's not any different than one person putting in their own name the same amount of times. So, Yeah, I mean, Kim, actually, there's a ton of moths that eat hair and bones and sinew and teeth, and there's a whole bunch of those that do that. I actually, if there's any lepidopterists out there, feel free to correct me, but I would perhaps propose that there are more moths on the planet that eat dead leaves and wood and bones and hair and all of that non-green plant matter jazz than there are species that feed on that stuff. So, and if somebody there knows better than I do, feel free to correct me. So, moths eat us, then we eat the moths. I think that's raffle items will ship within 6 weeks of the raffle of, I'll just say 6 weeks of December 6, 2023, depending on weather and winner schedules. And the winners schedules. Okay. Just in case anybody's like, hey, I'm not going to be around the whole month of December. So this seems pretty reasonable to me. So I will get that up on the Discord shortly after this auction ends. Everybody, you are welcome to start emailing about raffle items. You are also very welcome to continue donating outside of the raffle. I do need to update the total. We are not quite near any major goals, which is one of the reasons I've avoided updating it. But I think after the raffle, I will probably do a percent fundraiser from people out of the kindness of people's hearts percentage, and then another percentage to show how much was generated by the raffle. And I kind of would like to thank the people who just kind of threw money at me and said, oh, here you go. This is because I love roaches. You love roaches. I would kind of like to thank them a little separately. I will probably put those in the raffle donation people on a page on Roach Crossings Overhaul. They will be on the same page together, but I would like to just thank people who just gave money just expecting the site to be put up in good shape with good information, because I do appreciate that sentiment. So, anyways, everybody, this has been one of our longer Roach Wiggles. Thank you all for joining me. I'll see you all again next week. There will be a stream next week. Enjoy the time change. Enjoy relaxing, an extra hour of sleep, all that. Go out and catch some bugs while you can. There's still plenty of cool bugs out there. Some of them are just hiding in the leaf litter and whatnot. We're the middle of oil beetle season up here. Actually, haven't seen one in a couple of weeks. So, anyways, thank you, everybody. I'll see you all next week. Be sure to check the raffle details being posted in the Discord server right now. And until wiggle like you mean it, I like that too. And until next week and beyond, may your cultures ever be bountiful.